What's going on, everyone? It is your coach, Trev Bucheri here, and I hope you're just having a great day today. I hope we're all feeling amazing. And you know what? It's Mindset Day, so I'm super pumped about that. Love talking about this. Love talking about mindset, mindfulness, because really what it pertains to is it really relates, to me at least, to personal development. It's investing in ourselves. It's improving ourselves so we can then take our gifts and best share those with other people. It's personal development. It's learning how to control our emotions. And today I want to show you and share with you something that's been really just game-changing, life-changing for me. It's something I can say saved my marriage. It was a big, attributor to that. And it's from one of my greatest mentors, Dr. John Demartini, who I've worked with since 2011. And this has just been, it's been an amazing journey. And what he has on his website for free, man, I beg you, please, do it for yourself and give yourself the gift of doing his free values determination. That's what I'm going to show you today. If you just head over to drdemartini.com. Oops. drdemartini.com. And we're going to get started on it, and I'm going to bring you all through it. So basically determine your values here. Now, it's actually going to ask you, type in your email address here. And I'm just going to basically type in the one that is my garbage email address, because I think that's what I actually logged in. But it's going to have you create a username and password. Costs you nothing. And then basically we're going to be going through it. So congratulations, you're about to determine your unique hierarchy of values. Your key to empowerment and self-appreciation. You'll be asked 13 questions which will assist you to honestly look at what your life demonstrates as truly important to you. Now, each of us have a snowflake-specific hierarchy of values, if we will, and it's a prioritized list of what's most important to us in our lives. What's first most important, what's second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on and so forth. But again, they're fingerprint and snowflake specific, so they're all different. Even if family is the most important to me and it's the most important to you, we're going to have different degrees of it, you know what I mean, depending upon what number 2 is, so to speak. So it's really engaging, and it's also revealing too. And I think you'll dig this, but I haven't actually been through this in probably about 3 months, and I've never taught it before, so this will be interesting. So what are values? So this is basically just 2 quick videos to bring you through. I think this is actually a quick explanation, but if you want to know more about what values are and what the Demartini's value determination process is, you can just click here. If you'd like to actually see him talk through the process, this is about a 15-minute video or so. You can click right here. But I'm actually going to determine my values. I'm going to do it right away. Once you're actually in here and you have your account created, you can actually view your past results as well. So I could see my last results if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and determine my values right away. Now, once you actually have done this once, it's going to actually ask you, do you want me to remember your past entries from the last one so you can kind of see what you had, or do you want to clear the past ones? I'm just going to clear them so we can have a blank slate here for you. So again, this is just basically saying you'll be asked 13 questions which will assist you to honestly look at your life and what it demonstrates and what's truly important to you. Determine your hierarchy by filling in the 3 answers to each of the following 13 value determinations questions. You may initially be inclined to not accurately answer the following questions. I'm glad he has that, because you may not know what the answers truly are. You may at first try to answer with social ideals or authority injections. Basically, what he's saying is you may end up starting to answer based on what you think we want the answer or what he wants the answer to be. Don't do that, okay? To override this elusive tendency, and the following questions have instructions and examples which will assist you to more clearly define your highest values. So let's move it on here. Look carefully and specifically at how you fill your personal and professional space. What are the 3 items that you fill your space with most? What 3 items stand out in your space? And again, he's really just asking the same question over and over again. So how do you fill your space most? And it's basically like, what are you putting in here? Is it computers? Is it books? Is it albums? What is it? How do you fill your space second most? Okay, basically, what is second most in there? So for me, you can see right here, look what's on my desk right now. I have this many books. These are the books that I'm actually studying right now. And you can see I'm actually studying them. So you can see what's very important. These are all like my markers in this book. in particular. All right, so you can see what's really important to me, and then second most important, for example, I have my computers, but what is physically in your space? And then how how do you feel your space the third most? So again, what physical things are in your space? Next here, look carefully and accurately at how you spend your time. So how we spend our time determines so much. So what are the 3 things that you spend your time on most? And you will make time for the things that are really most important to you, and you will run out of time for things that are not. So how do you spend your time most? What is the thing that you do most? And now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, I spend my time with my family. Okay, well, there's 24 hours in a day. Let's say you sleep 8, and let's say you work 10. All right, well, you're actually working 10 and you're spending 6 hours with your family, actually, if you're sleeping 8, for example. So really look at how you're spending your time, literally. And then what's your second most amount of time? I spend 5 hours a day with my family. Okay, great. And what's your third amount of time? I spend this much time, doing X. And what I recommend here is do not put in sleeping as one of your answers. Put in your time when you are awake, for your answers here, because sleeping is an easy cop-out if you're doing that 8 hours a day here. What we're trying to do is really digging into how we're spending our conscious and our awake time during the day here. So next, look at how you spend your energy and what energizes you most. What are the 3 things that you will always find energy for most? So basically what you could do regardless. If someone woke you up out of a dead sleep, what do you have energy for? You will always have energy for things that are truly highest on your values list and that inspire you. And on the opposite side, you will not have energy for things that don't inspire you. So what energizes you most? What do you always find energy for? What energizes you second most? What do you always find energy for? And what energizes you third most? What do you always find energy for? I think those are pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and fill those in. Now, how do we spend our money and our resources most? What are the 3 things that you spend your money on most? You will feel reluctant to spend money on things you perceive as unimportant. So how do you spend your money most? I can tell you again, for me, it's education. It's going to learning events. It's buying, courses and books and things like that. That's one of the big things I spend my money on. And this could even be, for you, you might say, well, I spend my money on my home and my bills and so on and so forth. Okay. Great, so maybe that's important to you. Maybe that's most important to you. Or are you saying, you know what, I actually, I have a home and I have a nice home and I could actually spend more money on a home, but what I choose to actually spend that extra money on as opposed to upgrading my home, I choose to spend it on X. So how do you spend your money most? Then second most, then third most. Pop those down. And again, another thing I forgot to mention here is there is, of course, the read more. If you need more, read more. Okay, so where are you ordered and organized most? And in what area of your life are you most organized most? Where do you have the highest degree of order and organization? What are the 3 things that you're most organized in? And where are you most organized? So for me, for example, I can tell you it's my business, like my office. My office right now, I'm actually about to film. I don't know if you can see behind me. I have my lights and my cameras out and stuff like that, and I actually have like my screen over here and a bunch of stuff. But and it kind of drives me crazy because other than that, my office is always perfect. My office is always in complete orders. That's always where I'm ordered and organized. But if you look at my clothes are not that organized. If you look inside my car is very organized. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So where are you organized and ordered most? What about second most and third most? Pop them in. Moving on here. Where are you most reliable, disciplined, and focused? What are the 3 things you're most reliable on? Where is your highest, whatever is highest on your value will be disciplined to. So again, what are you disciplined to do most? What are you disciplined and focused to do? What could someone wake you up, out of a dead sleep and you'd be doing that? Or if you didn't have to do anything, when I said, hey, today's a free day for you, what would you end up finding yourself doing? Okay, would it be watching TV? Well, why are you doing that? Why are you focused and reliable and disciplined on that? Are you studying it? What are you into? You know what I mean? So, but where are you most reliable, disciplined, and focused? What are you most reliable? Hey, chances are that if this person is not here, chances are they're doing this. They're reading or they're researching or they're whatever it may be. Number one, second, and then number three. So what do you inwardly think about most? What are your innermost dominant thoughts? What are the three things that dominate your thoughts? So what are you thinking about most? And really this is talking about what are you daydreaming about? When we're talking about the inward thinking about, what are you daydreaming about? What are you actually, stirring up in your mind as goals or as thoughts or as conversations, that are going back and forth? But what do you inwardly think about most? Is it the next thing? Is it how grateful you are? Is it, a goal that you haven't started yet, but you've wanted to do it for years? What are you thinking about? And what about second most and then third most? And pop those in. What do you visualize most about how you would love your life to be that is gradually showing fruits and coming into reality? So I'm going to read that again. What do you visualize most about how you would love your life to be that is gradually showing fruits and coming into reality? So how do you envision your life that you actually see it coming true? What are things that you actually visualize and you would love for your life that you're actually seeing come to fruition at this point? What are the three things that you visualize, envision, or daydream about most and bringing about? So what do you visualize and then realize most? And again, this is what do you visualize or daydream about that is actually coming true the most right now? What do you visualize and realize in your life that is actually secondly coming true most? And then what do you visualize for your life or daydream about that's actually third coming true most, is what that means. And again, hit the read more if you need more. What do you internally dialogue with yourself about most? A lot of these questions are he's gone through these questions and brought these things down from a large, vast question to very succinct. So many times you have to read through them and really, it kind of messes with your brain a little bit, at least for me. What do you internally dialogue with yourself about most that is meaningful and that is gradually coming true or into your life? So what do you talk to yourself about? What are you basically having that internal dialogue to yourself about? The conflicts that we go back and forth. Everybody does it. Everyone talks to themselves about it. But what do you internally dialogue with yourself about most that is meaningful and is gradually coming true and into your life? What are the three things that you internally talk to yourself about most that are manifesting? So, what do you internally dialogue with yourself about most, second most, and third most? Again, that are manifesting. I think that's a really a good way to put it right there. I like the way he worded that. Next one here. We're at number 10. Okay. What do you most talk about in social settings? So again, these are the topics. And generally, you're going to be hanging out with specific people who want to talk about the same topics that you do, right? What are the three things that you externally converse with others about most? Is it family? Is it money? Is it other friends? Is it working out? Is it work? What is it? What are the three things that you keep wanting to bring your or others' conversations to that nobody has to remind you to talk about? Same thing. Same thing is like, what does someone not need to push you to do? What does someone not need to remind you to do? That's kind of what we're talking about here. We're finding the most important things to us. What are something that you would talk about anyways that no one has to force you to do it? If you weren't doing this, you're probably talking about that. So what do you talk about most in social settings? Second most in social, third most in social? Answer those. What inspires you or are you inspired about most? What is common to those individuals that have inspired you most? What is common to all those things, insights, experiences, or events that have repeatedly inspired you? So what inspires you most? What inspires you second most? What inspires you third most? And again, this could be a who, this could be a what, this could be a dream, this could be whatever. But again, what inspires you or are you inspired about most? What is common to those individuals that have inspired you most? And again, so it can be a thing, it can be a person, it could be a combination, it could be an experience, it could be an insight, anything like that. What are you willing to stretch yourself and persistently act towards? You are most willing to stretch yourself and persistently act towards goals that have the most meaning to you. So what are the 3 most consistent long-term goals that you have persisted working on that have stood the test of time? So basically 3 goals that are coming true over time. They're long-term goals, but you're working on them, you're consistent with them, you're chipping away at those, and you've persisted on those, and they've stood the test of time. You haven't dropped it and moved on. What are those 3 things? What is your most consistent long-term goal? Your second most consistent and your third most consistent long-term goal? Is this, I've been working out for 15 years, or I've been doing this for 15 years, or I've been, sober for 15 years, or whatever it may be. What are those goals here? And question 13, what topics of study inspire you most? And again, this doesn't have to be astrophysics. This doesn't have to be anything. You could say, hey, you know what? I love comic books. I love studying those and how those are put together and so on and so forth. So when you enter a bookstore, which section do you make a beeline for? Which topics of magazines do you subscribe to, if that even exists anymore? What section of newspapers do you turn to first, if those even exist anymore? Are there nonfiction TV shows or film documentaries that you seek out most? So what do you love to learn about most, second most, and third most? That's really what we're talking about here. And once you're done with this, you're going to get a really beautiful, extensive report which goes through and it shows you what proportions you are actually, or basically your values, your highest values, your values hierarchy, and the proportions of each one. And it lines it up beautifully for you, and it really will just give you some insight on exactly what is most important to you based upon your thoughts, based upon your actions, based upon your conversations, because we can all say, hey, family's most important, then this is most important, then this is most important. We can all say that, but the fact of the matter is that what we think about, what we speak about, how we spend our time, how we spend our money, and the examples and the actions that we take is truly what determines what's most important to us, because it's what we're investing our most precious commodity in, which is time. So hope you got a ton out of this today here. Thank you all so much. It's your coach, Trev Bucheri here. Again, head over to drdemartini.com. If you need the spelling, it's right up here, Dr. DEMARTINI.com, and you'll click on free values determination, and you'll get this beautiful gift right here. So hope you get a ton from this. Again, your coach, Trev Bucheri here. You have an incredible rest of your day. Take care.